Give me 100 preachers who fear nothing but sin and desire nothing but God. That alone will shake the foundation of hell. John Wesley. Today, within this speech, I want to try to inform you about America's first black preacher whose name was John Morant. We will go over his childhood, his teenage years, and also we will discuss his adulthood. John Morant was born in 1755, where he lived with his free black family in New York. His father died when he was 4 years old. When his father died, he had ended up in several different colonies with his mother and siblings, and for several years they did that until John Morant moved with his older sister in the year of 1766, where they lived in Charleston, South Carolina. Morant had showed very keen interest in music, so he was enrolled in music school where he learned how to play the violin as well as the horns. By the time he was 13, Morant was a very sought after musician, and people wanted him to play for their various parties as well as dances. His first experience within the church came in such a peculiar way. One of his friends, in fact, challenged him to go inside of a church where George Whitefield was preaching. And his friend actually challenged him and said that he wanted him to go in there and for him to interrupt their service by blowing his horn during their service. The challenge ended up turning out to actually be a very great experience for Morant because he actually got his best experience that he did not expect to get while he was there. He got a very keen and very peculiar experience as he went along in that service, coming in with the wrong intentions, but he left with something greater than what he came in with. From that day forward, Morant started to talk like a preacher and praying every day until he found relief for the guilt that he felt inside. Morant's household, when they heard that he had decided to turn his life around, was not very pleased with his decision. At 14, Morant left home, actually, to wander in a wilderness where he was rescued by a Cherokee hunter who took him into the Cherokee village. They wanted to kill Morant as he came there, but Morant's prayers kept him safe and also was able to lead several people to the Lord. The British impressed Morant so much that he ended up joining the Navy, where he ended up serving for 7 years. He backslid a little while he was in the Navy during the process and begged God for mercy. After being released from the Navy in the 1780s, he met evangelist George Whitefield once again, and he asked him to help him renew his walk with God. He joined the Huntington Connection of Calvinistic Methodists in Salina, Countess and Huntington, also spelled Huntingdon with a D. He also became a mentor for many. Morant, in 1785, accepted his ordination and his call to ministry and published an autobiography, which was actually a pamphlet, which was entitled A Narrative of the Lord's Wonderful Dealings with John Morant, a black preacher. In 1789, while in Boston, Morant preached one of his few sermons that has been preserved on the equality of all men before God. By now, he was an adult. He stayed in Boston, and his preaching on the dignity of all men infuriated some people, and Morant lived amidst death threats and mobs. He became chaplain in Prince Hall Grand Lodge, free and accepted Masons, one of the first institutions in Massachusetts to call for the abolition of slavery. Because of his group, slavery was abolished in Boston. He left for England in 1790 and died in 1791 at the age of only 36 years old. Within this speech, I've tried to inform you about America's first black preacher, a missionary to the Cherokee, and an author whose name was John Morant. We discussed his childhood. We also discussed his teenage years, and we also covered his adulthood. This is the time we celebrate Black history, and I felt it important to inform you of such a vessel as John Morant, who's so rich to the African American church. We thank God for John Morant, and we thank God for the freedom to be able to proclaim the gospel no matter what color of skin we are. We are all under one God. God bless you.